Wow, it's April the 16th and I got my shirt off. I'm at the beach. Fantastic. But I'm not here to talk about that. What I am here to talk about is the Satanic System and whether you, I'll bet unwittingly, are actually part of it. And in summary, the Satanic System is all about putting yourself first. It's about ego, status and materialism. So we know in society that that theft and violent crime is all too common these days, and the people that think that it's okay to do those things are obviously pursuing their own self-interest within the Satanic System. So I know there'll be loads of people here thinking, okay, well that's me in the clear then, right? Because I don't do any of that. And to that I would just say, hold on a minute. You know, what we're also talking here with the Satanic System is the theft of people's free will. So have you ever, I know where I used to live in Surrey, it was endemic this, you know, where people would be economical with the truth, try to pull fast ones over other people in order to achieve one of their own objectives. So it might be to advance their ego or status, it might be to earn more money at the expense of somebody else. Again, there'll be people that say, well, no, that's me in the clear. But you know, for me as a teacher, I'm well qualified to talk about this, and it's very, very common now at schools for just cheating to be endemic, that parents realise that they can pay for an educational psychologist report, tell their kid to write slower during the assessment, and they'll get awarded 25% extra time in their GCSEs and A-levels, which is a huge advantage over other children who come from more honest backgrounds. So this would be, I would call this an example of Satanism, because what you're doing is deceiving people, in this case future employers, and you're doing it for your own benefit, and you're also harming other people, in this case not just the employers but the other families who aren't prepared to pull those similar sorts of stunts and be dishonest fundamentally. Again, there'll be people who say, well, you know, I've not done that, I'm in the clear. Something else to consider then that might mean that you're part of the Satanic System is, do you still believe that the solution to our problem is just voting in another set of politicians, another government who will have, or enjoy, for them at any rate, a legalised monopoly on violence, and will coerce the general public into doing whatever they want, using the threat of violence or actual violence, or just, you know, if you don't pay up and pay your taxes, we'll throw you in a cage, and they'll use violence to enforce that, and then they get to spend the money that's been looted from other people on what they want. This is a system that's based on theft of people's income and wealth, which is immoral. In the Bible, you know, the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal, that includes government. Just because something is legal in terms of man's systems, that doesn't mean that it's moral in terms of God-given morality. So the current model of big government that we have is satanic. It involves people getting to choose who their slave master is going to be every 5 years on the basis of a manifesto that's just ignored. And it's based, the whole system is based on theft and violence. Before I get comments, the solution, of course, to this is the free market economy, where every single transaction is based on free will. So all exchanges are mutually beneficial, because if one party feels as if they're being exploited, they will withdraw from that exchange. So the question is, are you still accepting your satanic status as a slave to government? do you still think that this satanic system is acceptable? So the other thing here is that the solution really lies within all of us, that we must change ourselves. In particular, we've got to live our lives in accordance to natural law. So don't steal, don't be economical with the truth, don't mislead people, because by doing so, you're stealing other people's God-given free will. And I guess the most important message in this video is we have to get ourselves right. Things will only improve once we change. It's not about other people changing, it's not about the government changing, it's about us changing. And this is what I've been trying to do through my YouTube channel for, I don't know what it is, going on 4 years now, is to urge people that the solution lies within ourselves, that you know, and also more of us have got to start doing this, things like YouTube, and we've got to speak up and say the truth without the veil of anonymity. You know, and we've got to be brave enough to do that. The other thing as well that I would say is, I don't know about you, but I'm just getting sick now of kind of YouTube channels where it's just studying the big club and it's just entertainment, or, you know, even worse than that is just, you watch it and like half of it is just like an advert, really. It's like, oh, join our Patreon, it's, you know, £3 a month or whatever it is. And you know, I'm sorry for being a bit thick here, but, you know, even if you had 1,000 of those at £3 a month each, you know, some of these people are making a lot of money. They're making a wage, you know, from doing a few Patreon things. So the solution isn't producing entertainment in return for monthly Patreon payments. Because I think if you're doing this, you're actually choosing the wrong pathway. You know, there's two ways that you can approach life. The first way is just by being in love with your creature comforts. So that means, you know, the best way of doing that is creating entertainment, you know, for people. Oh, look at this, you know, blah 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 blah, in return for Patreon payments. And you know, that then means that you get some more material trinkets with the money that you've got, and maybe you do conferences or whatever, and you know, you get status and ego from that. You know, you become almost like your own mini celeb in the alternative media world, and certainly I don't want that. So my goal with this channel has always been enlightenment, rather than you know, I'm not monetized, for example. It's not about ego, it's not about status, it's about information. It's about, and it's not about money, it's about trying to get people to think and question things, to acquaint people with ideas that they might not have come across before. And I think from a very, very early age, this has been my approach to life, rather than it being about status, ego and material possessions. For me, it's always been about personal development, the pursuit of truth. By the time I take my last breath, I want to be able to look back on my life and think about whether I've achieved two things. The first thing being, you know, I've acquired wisdom during my life, I've learned. And then the second thing, is probably even more important, is that I've used my talents in the service of others, and I've helped other people. So this is what this channel's about. That's why I'm not charging people. I don't have a monetized channel. This is always going to be free, because my goal isn't money, ego, status. So as time goes on, I'm moving further and further away from channels where it's about ka-ching conferences and you know, truth for subs and all the rest of it. I'm not interested in entertainment, you know, satanic entertainment. Let's study the satanic system, whatever. It's just like, no. The other thing as well that I'll say, just to finish all of this off, is that the solution has to be it has to be from the bottom up, and people have got to demand a change to the way that society is organised. So an end to this big government model. We've got to be allowed to live our own lives and to trade with each other, specialise and trade with each other on a strictly a voluntary basis. And if we choose to, we can, help people that need to be helped. We'll probably do an awful lot better job of that than the government is currently doing, using an awful lot of our income that's been confiscated from us via taxes and then used for all sorts of crazy stuff like fighting wars or bringing people on rubber boats. So we've got to stop electing slave masters and stop supporting a system that's based on legalised violence. So that's all I want to say today. So God bless.